Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am Slipshock, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about Gotham Knights a little bit. Now, I am still working on a few different builds, for like Robin and things like that, because Robin is going to be my main. But while we're doing that, I want to talk about the game in general. Now, I've played basically every day since it came out. It's just been kind of like that. It's been fun for me. But as I've seen on multiple places like TikTok and YouTube and even Twitter, there are some reservations. And you have these people talking here and there, and I figure, hey, as a person who enjoys the game, and I want to give an unbiased opinion about it. Now, of course, me saying I like the game, you're going to say, oh, that can't be unbiased. Well, yes, I can. And the reason why is because I do enjoy the game. I don't hate it, so therefore I'm not intentionally trying to bomb the game. And I don't love the game, so I'm not intentionally trying to sell copies. It's a game that I enjoy playing, and I can see the flaws in it. And we're going to talk about it. So first, we're going to talk about our pros and our cons. So one of the biggest pros for me is the co-op experience. Being able to jump in and out of your friends' game, help them out, play with them, team up. Like the team up attacks are fun. They're so fun and they're so unique when it comes like the characters or whatever. You have Batgirl who just jumps in the air and like Rasengan punches somebody in the face. You have Nightwing who just does his acrobatic shit where he just like comes from out of nowhere, jumps up with the biggest hops and kick people. Those are fun because it's like that would be if you suspend your disbelief for a few seconds. That would be how a Gotham would play with team up. That would be where you run up with Red Hood and Nightwing. They would do that. That seems like something that they would do. And while that for me personally is a very fun and cool pro to this game. Another pro to me is the gameplay loop. Now, coming from certain games like The Division 2, Destiny 2, Marvel's Avengers, things like that, the live service games or whatnot, the gameplay loop here feels really fun because of the bonus objectives. Because it's not necessarily going to, unless you ignore the bonus objective, which I mean, if you want to, you can, but I try not to, unless it's annoying as hell. Like if it's like perform 12 perfect attacks, I'm not doing all that shit. I'm not doing that. I want to get in and out. But the gameplay loop is really fun. Like I don't go into a crime in the same manner with the same character. That's just kind of how sometimes I'll be like, you know what? Today we're going in loud and just whoop everybody ass. Next day, like, you know what? We're gonna go in some stealth and just take everybody's stealth out. Sometimes it's not an option. Sometimes you gotta, you get some pushback. So, especially if you're playing on the medium and the hard difficulties, those very hard and hard things start to get a little bit fun. A little bit fun. It starts to get at you. They get at you. They be in there. You be like, damn, wait a minute, am I going down camera right now? That type of stuff. That'd be the funniest part. Like when you think you're about to die on the game. And to follow up with that, every single character feels different. Like Jason feels so much different in comparison to Robin, and Nightwing feels like he is the weirdest but fun character to play. Like he has a move where he just like break dances and throws his batons in the area, and it's like it makes like a little tornado. Nobody else has that. It's fun. It's fun as hell. All four characters feel so much different that you could technically play a full gameplay through every single one of them, and it feels like a different game after a while because you're playing such a different mindset, such a different play style when it comes to these things, and it makes it feel much different. And the cutscenes are much different as well too. And so my last pro for this one, and then we're gonna get into the cons, is the boss battles feel much interesting than a lot of stuff. Harley Quinn plays much different, or going against Harley Quinn is much different than going against Clayface. Plus, they mix up with the battles. They mix up things. I'm not going to say too much more about the villains in general because I tried to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But there's different encounters. The ones that are announced, like the Clayface, the Harley Quinn, and the Mr. Freeze. Those are there. You got a few other ones that you fight against that feel a lot different as well. But all in all, the boss mechanics keep you on your toes, so to speak. There's this one time where they incorporate the bat cycle in a boss battle. I'm not gonna tell you why or when or who it is, but you're gonna be on your bat cycle during a boss battle, and that's cool. I think that's really cool. Alright, so now that we've done our praises, we do have to do the cons because we have to be as unbiased as possible. Now, I will preface this with some stuff that I've heard, some stuff that I've experienced, but overall, I can't in good faith say this all happened to me. The first con is the FPS issues. Me personally, I have not had those issues, but in contrast, Synchro Champ, the one I was playing with most of the time, was having that a lot. And while I really wish I knew why, I had the stable 30 FPS as far as I could tell. I've went back to a few of my streams to see if there's any droppage or anything like that. I haven't seen it. I didn't feel it in my end, but he did, and you could tell when he did. I have one of my another content creator that I'm cool with, Lejeune. He showed on PC where he was driving with Jason and through the city, and it was FPS was just falling. It was falling like it was falling in love type stuff. Other ones, the other people who just couldn't even play the game for the first couple of days, and I get that. Those are all noted, and I think those all should be fixed. They did do a couple of patches in the last couple of days, and they are planning to do more to help stability and help things of that nature. So that is good, but we can't ignore the fact that it does have stability and performance issues. There's characters that are, I think they fixed it in the last patch, but there was meditating characters that made it to a point where they couldn't be attacked and killed. So that did make you fail that mission that you were doing because you had to walk away from it. And while it's such a small thing, it's still a very discouraging thing, or it breaks the immersion when you're trying to play a game and something happens like that. And this is a con that I've heard a lot, and I share this. The UI is confusing. It's definitely confusing. Funniest thing, Synchro was playing and he didn't even know that while you're in a map, you can press the sensor bar or the pressure bar and see some of the stuff on the side to track and stuff. And he was well into the game because it doesn't tell you any of that. It doesn't give you that information. It assumes that you know that. And when you get into the bad computer, a lot of the stuff is disjointed. A lot of the stuff it doesn't have a flow to it. You don't there's no tutorial to tell you how it is. It's almost like an old cell phone UI. That's kind of how the UI is made. And once you get used to it, you're fine. But it's very distorted and weird. First couple of plays or whatnot, play days or whatever, it is one of those confusing, where do I go, how do I get to this, things like that. And they also need to clear all buttons. Sometimes I don't care about the notifications, and seeing the notifications and not being able to clear them all is very annoying. As it stands, the crafting system doesn't make sense to me, and not necessarily the way it's crafted, but how do you get the craft blueprints? So I get the part where you have to go out every night with the character. But if you get to a point where one of your characters are much higher level than they are, you're going to be struggling to get the other stuff there because you didn't acquire any blueprints for the other characters. You only acquire them for that character. And I get it that there may be a point where they're trying to let you, play each character. They also went and said that you could go the whole game without playing. You can go the whole game playing one person. But if you go the whole game playing one person and then you switch over to the other person, they don't have the craftable blueprints that they need to be able to compete if you've maxed out your other character. And I do think that is a little bit of a step back, because that means you kind of essentially have to start from scratch with the second character and third character and fourth character. And I do mean this for the legendary and the higher stuff. They do give you like blueprints for the blues and things like that, but I think the blueprints, if you require one, you should acquire all of them. Just not all of them, but for all of them, just so you can kind of have some gear that is close to that level to where you can pivot to, even if it's just general gear like team up stuff, to where you kind of have them comparable. Because you don't want one character to be super powerful and the other ones are like really weak comparatively. Excuse me. And to jump off of that to the colorways, I think that it should be better explained on how to get those and what you need to. Because some of those say you need to craft this particular suit or this type of suit to get this colorway, but it's not always accurate. It say a toxic, but it has to say a toxic. If you have a piece of gear that is not necessarily says toxic gear, but it has toxic, like the poison icon, you would think that would fit, but it doesn't. It has to be a toxic suit, which you have to get the blueprint on. Now I do realize that these are probably a little bit more rare costumes or colorways, but yeah. Also, jump into that, the styles. Just because you switch to a different colorway, I do think you still should be able to at least switch over to those things. Like, I think that'd be cool. That'd be personally cool for me. And the very last thing is the end game is lacking. Once you get to new game plus 40, you're doing the crimes, and while I do think the crimes are fun to do, it's not enough of them to do each time to gear yourself up for the heroic assault that's going to come up later. We know that it's going to be a 4-player co-op, but we don't really know how it's going to be. So maybe something similar to the something in midway there that might give us an idea what it is as a breach to that end game thing. Maybe a 2-player thing that you do with friends, and y'all kind of get a glimpse of what the heroic assault would be. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool, because that gives you something to do with your friends or by yourself, depending. Maybe you can pull up either matchmaking, or you can choose another knight of your own to go there as AI support, and y'all go into it like a kind of like a duo or a dungeon, like a 2-person duo. That'd be pretty cool. But overall, I think that it should be a little bit more than just the crimes. We do got the owl nests and things like that, which I don't want to go too much into it, because a lot of that stuff is getting to be a spoiler thing, and I do want to try to make sure this is not as spoiler as possible. But overall, that I think that we do need a little bit more for in-game policies. Alright guys, we're done with that particular video. I do appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you're watching this whole video and you like it, please let me know in the comments. If you like these type of breakdown pro-con videos and any other pros and cons that you have, be respectful, obviously, because we, different people have different experiences. You don't want to make anybody upset by coming off the wrong way. That's all I'm saying. Hit that sub button if you're new. Hit that like button if you like the video, and leave a comment with some of your stuff. I will see you guys later. Peace.